Whoa! You go like gangster. She is being held here against her will, so she's probably... Just kidding. That sounds terrible. I'm not keeping that in there. But we'll move on. So, that was a rabbit trail. This is just gonna be like a 40-minute interview. It's fine. Okay. It'll be great.
Put some segments out here.
Yeah. So, your process, going through the breakup, it's that week.
Oh, yeah.
Where we're breaking up. What was going on for you? Feel free to share however little you want to, but just kind of, and maybe how did that differ from like my viewpoint or like what I was thinking, what I was going through?
Yeah, so I
don't think that we should be together.
The whole week, I was just, like really afraid because I didn't want to, like,
Afraid? Sorry, is that what you said?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, afraid.
Afraid.
Because I hate confrontation, and I hate, letting people down and disappointing them. And so I was feeling right away, like, I think I know that, like, we can't be together anymore. And so that was really hard because I was just kind of dreading when that would actually have to happen, and so that was really difficult. And then once we like met up and everything, I know like the one thing that the Lord told me the whole time was like, this isn't like a fight, this isn't a battle, like, and if it is, like, I will fight for you, like, this isn't an argument, or like this is just like, let me speak through you, and this isn't like, basically just like it reminded me of like the scripture that's like, stand still and like see the victory, and like the Lord will fight your battles for you, and you don't have to be afraid, and you don't have to think like, oh, this is like, you don't have to go into it with a mindset of like, we're fighting, or
right, like I'm gonna win this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so I was definitely scared, and like I said, going through the whole like self-worth thing, and wanting to do the right thing, and wanting to not hurt like you, obviously, and because that was just all really hard. But definitely once it was all said and done, I walked away feeling like I was shocked at how I felt, because in the past, like, I've gone through like a lot of heartbreak, so I was thinking, oh great, like this is gonna be the same thing again, like I'm gonna go downhill from here, and all that stuff. But when I walked out, like the Lord like just gave me joy, like he gave me this reassurance. He was like, there's freedom, like, and it wasn't because our relationship was so bad, but it was just like I obeyed, like it was just
you knew you did the right thing.
Exactly. Yeah, and so it was still hard. I still cried, obviously, but it was just a difference in, like, it wasn't, like, intense pain at that moment. And, of course, like, in the weeks to come, like, it was hard, and there were times when there was, like, a lot of, like, sadness and frustration, but just, like, during that process when we were breaking up, it was amazing how much grace that the Lord had for both of us.
Yes, yeah. So what did you think when... I remember we had the conversation where we ended up breaking up. What were you thinking during that conversation, and ultimately when we walked away from each other? Like, what were you thinking in those moments, and how were you perceiving me responding to you?
Sure. So if I can be like exactly what I was thinking, I remember I was chewing gum so that I wouldn't cry, and so I was thinking, don't cry. I don't know why.
That's hilarious.
Keep me occupied.
Did it work? I mean, we didn't cry.
We didn't cry, so that's good, I guess so. But I remember thinking that, and I remember thinking like, stay calm, because I was just really nervous. But I know as far as like, I honestly like can barely remember like what I said, because I am convinced like it was the Lord. Like I would not have in my own strength been able to like have the right words, but I know the Lord really spoke through both of us. And I was really afraid because I knew you had like really good convincing points about why we should stay together, which I agreed with. So it was really hard because I was like, I know, but, and so yeah, that was
really funny.
Really difficult for me. Just because we were friends, and I cared about you, and I believed what you were saying, and I mean, we'd been together for almost 2 years, so it felt like a whole like season was like coming to a close, and it was just like a lot going on. So yeah, I guess there was just a lot of emotions, and
yeah, that's really interesting. I like hearing your perspective because I remember when I was going into that, we'll probably backtrack a little bit, but I remember thinking when we were talking together that, I wrote a lot of stuff down. I remember I was like reading a lot of stuff, and I think like on paper, like you said, there are a lot of good reasons why we could have stayed together. But I remember like in that moment, the Spirit kind of prompted me, like, there's no changing her mind. And
it's just kind of a general thing.
yeah, you can't ever.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something.
No, but and you could probably speak to this more of like going into that, you knew basically like we need to break up and we're breaking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of, and not in like a bad way, but I remember talking to her and it was like talking to a wall, basically.
Yeah.
Because like I could feel that like there was no like, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus at all, but like absorbing of like the information or like oh, I'm gonna think through this. No, it was just like, you definitely like kept your ground in terms of like if I said something, the way you responded was like kind of in opposition, in a good way, not like a bad way, but like I could feel that, like I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, but in all of that, and kind of the awkward and like, but like the Spirit was so evident during the breakup, like 100%. He indicated to me that I needed to let her go. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Because like I wanted so badly to fight for her. But the Spirit told me otherwise, and I can just remember like we prayed together before departing and like going our separate ways. Like there was a lot of like, and that's what I love about our story, was like Jesus is still so central to us that we're like letting go of all the hurt, all the pain, all the like, this is about me, all the frustration, all of the grief that we were going to experience. It was, hey, we can lay that down and pray together. We can lay that down and fix our eyes and our minds and our hearts on the truth of who Jesus is in this moment, right now. And that's totally what happened. And strangely, because leading up into this point, it was like all me, like, I'm fighting for her, I'm going to change her mind, there was like this total release and freedom for me as well of like, when she walked away, I thought I was going to be a wreck. I thought I was going to be like, exactly. And it was the total opposite. I was like totally at peace. And I was totally like, wow, like this is totally going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just the Lord at work in that moment. But any response to that? Any thoughts?
Yeah, and it was cool. Like, I think the Lord oftentimes, like, it's a process when he's, answering prayers, but sometimes it's right there in the moment. And it was so interesting, like, that in a way was kind of a miracle, like an emotional miracle, if you will, because when we were praying, it was like we were asking the Lord to like release like those burdens and that pain. And it was like the second we both walked away, or even like when we were leaving and we hugged, like it was just like, all right, like he answered those prayers. Like obviously there's still growth in a process like after that of completely like healing, but even in that moment to be able to be friends and to be able to like love and respect each other was huge, because we had just broken up, and the Lord instantly kind of answered those prayers where we were okay and we still had him and we weren't completely distraught. So
yeah, it's really good.